Of companies is considered, well, insider trading. Advanced knowledge of congressional actions, well, you can file that one under SAFE. A study last month showed that representatives beat the market by an average of 6%. Coincidence or conspiracy? Congressman Paul Grijalva is from Arizona. He's been sponsoring a Stock Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, or the Stock Act, for many years. He was supposed to join us on this morning's program, but now apparently is no longer available to speak to us. Thankfully, Dan Mitchell is a senior fellow at the Cato Institute. He's lived up to his commitment and is with us this morning. Dan, good morning to you. Presumably these congressmen are subject to normal insider trading law.
Probably, but this is one of these funny issues where what's technically insider trading? This is probably more what's that famous Washington phrase, the appearance of impropriety? We have a group of people, members of Congress and also high-level staff, who have the ability to both be investors and be umpires or referees because they can pass laws that affect the economy. And if they're earning above average returns, and we sort of know they're probably not the smartest, best investors in the world. Heck, I wouldn't trust them to mow my lawn. But the fact that they're making all this money and the fact that they have their thumbs on the scale, that stinks to a lot of people.
Dan, are these people audited?
There, of course, are all sorts of ethics and disclosure rules and things like that. But the question is, what would define a smoking gun? I'm an economist, not a lawyer. So, where do you actually cross the line from something that's just a little bit sleazy to something that's outright illegal? I imagine that they might not be the best people at managing our economy, but they're probably pretty careful about making sure that they're not actually crossing the line. What you'd have to find is an example of, say, somebody on the Financial Services Committee who was doing something during the Dodd-Frank bailout bill to personally affect or help or hurt a company, and then they had a position with that company. That would be the smoking gun.
I'm imagining, Dan, that you'd like to institute something similar to what we have here at CNBC, where people that are involved in the production of news or anchors or producers are not actually allowed to trade stocks at all, except within certain windows, so that you can be seen to be above board, as it were.
Well, what I would most like to do is just get the politicians out of trying to micromanage the economy. Every time Congress meets, it seems like our economy does worse. But since that's probably not going to happen, Dan Mitchell fantasies generally don't get met. Perhaps some additional disclosure requirements and maybe a little bit of investigation to make sure these people on the relevant committees who have this power to hurt or help companies aren't personally profiting from their messing around with our economy.
Dan, there is a study that does show that members of Congress are superior traders to the average public. In your view, is that proof that they are benefiting from some sort of information gleaned by holding the positions they're holding?
I don't think we can say it's proof, but does it smell a little bit? Of course it does. Again, think about members of Congress. As Anthony Weiner famously said before he got ran out of town, he has no marketable skills. And that's probably representative of the rest of them as well. What would make us think that these people who have this reverse Midas touch, everything they do seems to screw up our economy, and yet they're good investors?
I guess, Dan, they do mix with people who are very much at the fulcrum of what's going on. If you wanted to know where the economy was, presumably those politicians, they have access. They have access to an awful lot of people. They know now what is happening.
Well, certainly, if you're a powerful member of Congress, you can get on the phone and probably get in touch with Warren Buffett or anybody on Wall Street that you want to get in touch with. Again, does that cross a line to being illegal? I have no idea, but it stinks. And the problem is that government has so much power, and therefore the politicians and high-level staffers in Washington would have this ability to personally benefit from manipulating the economy. And that's something that should upset us.
OK, Dan, thank you very much. Dan Mitchell joining us there from Washington. Again,